You are very live. Oh, good. I like being live. I said I'd do this stream next week, but I thought, well, let's do it today because I'm trying to kill time because we're getting our washing machine. And I figured what better way to kill time is to do a stream, you know. But now, today's stream, it's about paranormal investigating, but it's kind of a new twist. And that, like any kind of paranormal investigation team, and that they always have the fun job of debunking stuff before they do the spiritual and historical part. Okay. Well, today I want to do, now, I'm doing this for the scientific community, and just for them. Hey, Marilyn. And I'm doing this just for, like I said, I'm just doing this for the scientific community, and that because I know there's a lot of investigation teams out there that some actually do only the scientific, where others do scientific and spiritual and so on and so forth, okay? Which is fine. But anyway, when you post investigation, okay, there's always a chance that the stuff that you experience might not be paranormal, it might not be supernatural, okay? Sometimes it can actually be explained, okay? Well, it's a good idea to go in there. Well, first of all, it's a good idea to go there and have a controlled environment, for one thing, okay? So you go into the location, you go into a certain room, okay? Here's some advice from me is don't have a whole pile of people all in one room, okay? It makes it really hard to control, okay? My advice is, if possible, have only 2 people in one room, okay? And that is basically the person with the camera and the person that's doing the investigating or presenting whatever, okay? That way, it's easier to debunk noises, okay? Especially because there's always a chance that someone might take something, like a stone or knock something, and not know it, okay? Because they're so engrossed in the investigation that they might kick a stone and they might bump something, or, you know, and it's always a good idea not to be near any light switches or anything like that, like in the center of the room if possible, and try to stay as still as possible. That way, if there's any noises, it's not coming from the investigation team. Okay, and now if there's going to be more than 2 people, okay, my suggestion would be to have a couple of people on one floor and a couple of people on the next floor up, okay, if possible. And make sure that they are very conscious of them talking, coughing, anything that produces noise. Okay, very, very careful on that. Because let's say if someone in the next room over goes okay, and they don't say, oh, sorry, I coughed, okay, the people next door may say, sounds like a ghost. It's a team member clearing his throat. Like I said, as controlled environment as possible, okay, because I've seen that so many times. And that now, when it comes to noises and stuff and different phenomena throughout the house, it's good to have a checklist, okay, of possible alternative explanations, okay, whether it's electrical, plumbing, structural, whatever, okay. Now, let's say if one of the phenomena experienced for the family is lights flickering or the TV going on and off on its own, okay, before jumping to say, oh, it's a ghost, okay, first of all, have the electrics checked. Check to make sure that there's no power fluctuations going through the house for whatever reason, okay. And also, get the electrics checked, see if any power fluctuations have gone through the house, okay. Check the switches, make sure that no one just accidentally bumps it, okay. And now, if that stuff can be cleared, okay, great. That's one thing checked off, okay. But it doesn't stop there, okay. And also, especially if you're very close to the breaker panel or fuse panel, okay, there's a thing called being sensitive to high EMF, electromagnetic field. Okay, if someone's really sensitive to that, okay, some of the side effects of EMF, and that, believe it or not, can be either field hallucination, hey Tinker, field hallucination, it can be feeling of unease, feeling a presence behind you, hair standing on end. All that stuff is the effects of high EMF. Okay, and if you're especially sensitive to that, well, then it may give you the impression that there's a spirit nearby. Okay, so things like that have got to be ruled out first. Okay, and usually a team member will have an EMF detector. Okay, and if there's high EMF near a breaker panel, okay, well then that's automatically debunked. Okay, it's not a ghost, it's just a lot of electromagnetic field in the area, and you're sensitive to it. Okay, now for some people might think, no, I know there's a ghost nearby. Well, fine. But if you want to have a scientific part, okay, high EMF. Okay, and so basically that's the electrical part, that you got to really consider. Okay, now when it comes to TV going on and off, okay, but as you know, a lot of these new TVs, okay, have remotes. Okay, make sure you know where the remote is. Don't sit on it and say, oh, the TV just came on its own, must be a ghost. No, it means you sat on a stupid remote. And or it could be a faulty remote or a faulty TV. Or if you have a camera and you're filming, well, sometimes that red beam, if aimed in the right direction towards the TV might mistaken that the remote and comes on. Okay, so it's something to consider. Okay, and same with the PC. If the PC is touch sensitive, and that a laser beam towards the screen or towards the computer might happen. Okay, but at least you got that to consider. Okay, and I can't think of anything else that that's part of the electrics, other than for if you have, let's say, appliances in the kitchen that all of a sudden come on its own. Okay, like I said, have the electrics checked, but also have that. Let's say it's a kettle that just for no reason comes on. Okay, have the switch checked. Okay, it could be a fault somewhere. Just like the TV, check the plug. Okay, make sure there's no fluctuations or any surges. Okay, now that's all I can think when it comes to the electrics. Now, when it comes to the newer houses, okay, you have both the regular plumbing and the gas lines. Okay. Now this has to do with the plumbing stuff. Okay. Now, if you hear knocking in the walls or knocking in the floor, okay, well, before you say, oh, a ghost is walking around, okay, first of all, have the plumbing checked. Make sure that the pipes in the basement or in the walls are not loose. They're not rattling. Because if you get a pressure buildup in the water, that can cause okay, that may give the impression of a spirit person running. Okay, so basically, have a plumber check. All the pipes going throughout the house, make sure they're good and secured and tight. Okay, have the water tank inspected. Make sure it doesn't give up any weird. Hey, I had a air hockey table in the basement. You could hear it playing with click click. I went down in the basement and it stopped. It wasn't plugged into the power. Okay, you see, you've already debunked that. It cannot be the electrics because it's not plugged in. Okay, so it's done. So the power source has got to come from somewhere. Okay, hey Tasha, and so that's because you checked the air hockey table and that, and you checked it, it's not plugged in, but it's still playing. Unless it's got a backup power source like batteries, then yeah, to me that's incredibly fascinating. And that, and when it comes to the plumbing and that, if the pipes are solid, the water heater is good, and that, then at least you debunked the water lines, the plumbing. Okay. Now, when it comes to the gas lines, that I can't see it really being a big issue when it comes to rattling, but there has been cases where the gas line is actually not so much rattled, but vibrated, because they're much heavier pipes. Okay. But yeah, if let's say there's a surge of gas going through, and that for whatever reason, and that, then no batteries. Okay, then yep. So you see, you've already debunked it, so it cannot be a power thing, and that. So as it got no backup power source, then yeah, it could. So the next thing is find out who in your family like to play that, and that, or if you don't know of anyone in your household that played that, and that, then it's a good idea, and that to employ. Well, I suggest you employ both the spiritual end of it, the spiritual part, and the historical, to see who loved playing air hockey. And if it's a relative, then just tell them, hey, don't wear it out. And that. So basically, just telling them, if you want to play the game, fine, but just don't wear the table out. Yeah, spiritual competition. And that. But yeah, so now I know usually the gas pipes are run underneath the floor. So if you hear like a kind of a faint knocking or something, okay, it's always a good idea to have the gas line check, make sure it's solid. If it's a little bit loose, they'll tighten it. If it's not, at least you checked it. Now, for the ventilation part of the house or the property, okay. Let's say you're experiencing not so much noise and stuff like that, although you could hear rumbling or something like that. But this could cause possibly drafts, cold drafts, and that seem to come out of nowhere. Okay, we'll bring in a tech specialist, okay, to see if there's any faults or any holes or any dents or any kind of structural damage done to the ventilation system, which is also part of the furnace, and that, and get them to check to see, if any, a blast of cold air can come through a vent, through a register, through a cold air return, and that's very popular. And that, now if the duct specialist says, "Oh, your system's fine, we don't see any problems at all," they can ask them, "Okay, what could cause a sudden blast of cold air?" Then you might say it might not be the duct system. It could be leaks around the windows, around the doors. Okay. See, it couldn't, like I thought, it could have been a relative or someone that used to like playing it. Well, at least you got more answers and less questions. And that, but yeah, when it comes to the when it comes to any drafts and stuff like that, like I said, it might not be the ductwork at all. It could be windows and doors. Okay, check all the doors and all the windows to see if there's any leaks. Okay, or any cracks in the window. Anything that can produce a draft coming through, and that. And you know, so if you feel a cold draft, okay, check windows, doors, vents, and that, and see if you can find the source of it, but also at the same time check the seal around the windows, around the doors, to see any draft comes through. Okay, that could be it, you know, and then and uh, okay, and that now there's two other phenomena that um, to me, I find it not difficult to mention, but it's more interesting, and that is hearing footsteps going up and down the stairs, or hearing footsteps in hallways. Okay, we're trying to find the source of the footsteps. Okay, to me, it's a little more of a challenge, but you know that's always interesting to check out. Okay. Best thing to do is now this in this case it could be the plumbing, it could be the air return, it could be something like that and that. But when it comes to the floors, like in the hallways, the first thing that I would suggest is check the floorboards, okay, to see if they're making any noise, creaking, popping noises, and also temperature. Okay, especially if the stairs or if the hallways, if the floors are wooden. Okay, because cold can cause wood to expand and contract. Okay, and that can cause different kinds of noises, including pops, which could be interpreted as footsteps. Okay, so at least that's some kind of food for thought in that area. Whether it's stairs or it's in the hallway, check to see check the structure of the stairs or the hallway. Is it floorboards? And that, okay, well, that's one idea. Okay, because I've heard some people say that if you want to step on the floorboard and it makes a kind of a creaky noise, then or poppy noise, especially either under weight or temperature, and that, well, that's something to consider. Okay, and now let's say if you had a floor that was wooden, but you covered it with carpet. Okay, well, what you could be hearing is a sound from the past. In other words, check to see if that floor was to make the same noise. Of course, you have to take up the carpet and then test the floor to see if you can replicate that noise, both on the hallway and on the stairs. See if you can replicate that noise and that, because it might be a sound from the past. Okay, but at least you debunked it. Now, if you take off the carpet and step on the floor or step on the stairs, but you cannot make the same noise, and that, then that's interesting. But if you can, well, then at least that's a possibility that it could be a structural thing. Okay, so at least that's one scenario. Now this part here, I think a lot of people get upset for some of the silliest reasons in that, and that's when things start to move, and that, like a chair moves over a little bit, and that, or let's say something on top of a table slides and falls off, or on a fireplace mantle, something falls off. Okay, if that's the case, then it's a good idea to let's see if you're talking about a chair moving or something something on a table sliding off. Okay, some people say, "Oh, it's a ghost." Okay, well, before you say that, and that, my suggestion is to bring in a structural engineer. Okay, to check the floorboards to see if they're level, and also to check to see if there's any heavy traffic near your home or near your location. Okay, especially if there's a lot of big vehicles like trucks, lorries, buses, or even trains. Now, if you got a train track nearby, you know how heavy those suckers are. Okay, because they can cause not heavy vibration, but they can cause vibration. Okay, and that vibration and that could cause stuff to vibrate and okay. So not necessarily a ghost, but it could be the vibration from whatever's outside causing the vibration, making the item fall off the table or causing the chair to move a little bit. Okay, it could be the vibration of a big vehicle. Okay, but at the same time, that now I can't say that if you walk into a living room, you're going to cause a plate to fly off the table. Like to me, that would make no sense. Like, scientifically, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, a vibration did that. No, I'm talking about little things that can, right? Especially if the floor is a little bit uneven, vibration, the item moves a little bit until it falls off. Okay, well then that's a possibility. Okay, when it comes to, let's say, an item that's on a mantle over a fireplace, and that mantle is made of concrete. Okay, well, I don't think the vibration would be quite as strong. There could be a little bit of vibration, but not nearly as strong. That could cause it, but I personally, I wouldn't buy that. And that it would take something more, a little more of a force, like a big blast of wind. And that, but like I said, and that, have a structural engineer come in, check the structure, make sure that the building is structurally sound, and that, and make sure the floors are totally even, because in the older houses, and that the wood sets and shifts and stuff like that over time, and cold and hot weather, and there's wear and tear. Like there's no such thing as a perfectly level floor. I haven't seen that yet, and regardless of what the floor is made of, But the older houses, long boards, and don't forget long boards. They don't always stay completely flat. They do have the tendency to bend a little bit. Okay, and with vibration, that could cause things to move a little bit. Okay, so just trying to think of anything else. So we come to, oh yeah, also if you hear scratching at the window, almost forgot. Let's see if you hear the tiny little bumps or scratching in the walls. Okay, well, what I suggest to do is to bring in a pest control specialist and get them to check in behind your walls, your basement, your attic, anywhere where the little animals can get in. Like groundhogs, squirrels, any tiny little animals that can get in the nest or whatever, and that have them check that to see if that could be the cause. Okay, because even, I hate to say rats, I don't think I want to say that because it might creep some people out, but any kind of tiny little animal that likes to nest in walls and attics and stuff like that, or mice, anything small, and that get them to check to see if there's anything in there that could cause scratching. Okay, and at least you got that ruled out. Now, when it comes to outside, especially if you hear tapping or screeching at the window, or even on the roof, you hear scratching or creeping or tapping, and that, check outside to see if there's a tree with a very big limb tapping on the roof, scratching at the window, if there's a branch that's going against the window or against the window frame. Okay, check to see if there's any trees that are really close. And if that's the case, just cut part of the limb off, let's say a good couple feet from the window, and that should do it. Okay, and But if you've got a big limb that's really close to the roof, then I would definitely suggest you get that limb and have it removed, because if there's a big windstorm, that limb can come down and do damage to the house. So I'd say get rid of it. And not only that, but also it would debunk any mysterious noises and that. And that. So anyway, I think I've nailed everything when it comes to debunking and stuff. So, like I said, this is no attack against the spiritual community and to historians whatsoever. This is just the debunking stuff, and that, because I know that the scientific community would do all this to say, okay, before you start saying that it's paranormal, let's check to see if there's any scientific explanations. In some cases, that's what it is, but in some cases, it isn't. The whole list has gone through, and none of it applies. Then I say it's got to be spirit activity, and that, and so. But like I said, this is from my own personal experiences and that of what I've learned over the years, and that. But anyway, once again, thank you so much for listening to me. Excuse me, I got gas. Not again, but not the gas now. So thank God. And that. And and also one more thing I almost forgot is, let's say you hear something weird in the basement. Okay, like a tapping, a thumping, whatever. Okay. Don't like before you jump to the conclusion that it's a ghost. Down there, see if you can pinpoint where the noise is coming from. There's a good chance it could be coming from the furnace. Doesn't mean the furnace is going to fail or blow up or anything like that. It could be that the furnace just needs a little bit of maintenance, okay, or cleaning or whatever. Okay, so if you find that the noise is coming from the furnace area, okay, bring in a furnace specialist, get them to overhaul it, give it a clean bill of health. Chances are the noises you heard that came from the furnace will be gone, and that. But if it isn't, then it's not the furnace; it's something else, and that, and that. But like I said, when you first go in, have the house to try to have as many controls in place as you can, and that way you hear one thing and it's not interpreted as something else. And that's all I'm saying. So anyway, people, thank you so much for listening to me. And I've been wanting to do this for quite a while on that, but now I got a chance to talk about the scientific part, or the scientific part of doing investigation and that. And funny part is that a lot of teams that I know of, include my own team, and that we like to debunk one before the other, and that. And I think that's the reason why so many people have so much respect for our team and for White Rose, is because we cover all the bases. Okay, we don't say, "Oh, you hear something? Oh, it's a ghost." No, and that we have a checklist. Okay, we hear rattling, we hear banging. Okay, what could it be? And then the plumbing. Maybe the homeowner's got bad plumbing. Who knows? But at least you'll have that in mind. Okay, before you say it's a ghost, you say, "Oh, it's just loose pipes." I'm always trying to debunk stuff. Yeah, so am I. And that's so much fun too, because at least that way, the scientific community will actually have some respect for you, because you're using science before you use spiritual, and that the science part, cannot be, none of the stuff can be explained using the scientific part, and you go to the spiritual. At least they'll say, okay, well, at least they covered all of the scientific basis first before doing anything else. And that, I think a lot of teams would actually respect that, because we don't say, "Oh, I just heard something. Oh, it's a ghost. We got a gassy ghost." And so, anyway, people, once again, thanks so much for your time and for joining me, and for all the people in the chat. Holy guacamole! I got so many beautiful people in chat. Got Tasha, Tinker, Marilyn. Wow, man, and it's good to see that people are, they're using the practical before you start using the spiritual, which I think is amazing. Because like I said, some teams they don't like using spiritual. They're complete scientific and scientific only, and and if that's the way they want to do it, that's terrific. And that personally, I prefer these scientific, spiritual, and historical. That way you cover all the bases and you get more answers. So anyway, and a quick shout out to Tasha, okay, the craft lady, okay. She's got a page on Facebook and she does crafts, okay, and she makes the most magnificent dream catchers plus other crafts. So hint, hint, for those who want something special for Christmas, contact Tasha and put an order in, and be sure to like her page, share her page, and also comment on her page as well, saying how awesome her work is, and I'll try and put that link in the description below but what I'll do is I'll put in the Paranormal Investigating group into the link below, okay, and yeah, so if you want something magnificent for Christmas, contact Tasha Mellor, okay, and she's also an amazing Reiki person too, and she just finished a course on Reiki and yes, and so she's also amazing when it comes to Reiki, as well as she's amazing when it comes to crafts. So please contact her and let her know that I recommended her to whoever wants to order or has questions and 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 be sure to order some stuff from her, and I'm pretty sure she'll really appreciate the support and so I think that's it. So anyway, people, next stream will be next week. Don't know the title yet. Haven't got my guide yet. So today I thought I'd do the debunking thing, which is a lot of fun. And so anyway, one more thing I just no, this is not so much scientific, but it's more psychological. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the psychological parts for another stream, and because today is just basically scientific. Okay, so anyway, people, thanks again for joining me. Thanks to everybody in chat once again. And if you like the stream, please like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and it really helps me out. And because I absolutely adore doing this. I wish I could do this every day, but I got other things to do. So, but oh yeah, it's fun. So anyway, please, to the people in the States and UK, please stay safe. I love all of you. You're amazing. And I'll talk to you next time. Okay? So until then, love and light.